Hi, welcome to Off Script. I'm Zach Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Draper.
Today on the show, we're taking a look at Everything Everywhere All at Once, the new film from Daniels. It's in theaters, and we're excited to talk about it. We're also looking at Morbius, the film that's been making waves is out. The superhero movie it sure is out, and we watched it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk a little bit about the Oscars fallout since the last time we did the show, a couple of weeks ago. Slapgate is lovingly referred to by Andy in the show outline. We're going to talk about what's happened since then, some developments regarding Will Smith and Chris Rock in the Academy. And first, we need to get to the news and a bit of personal news. I'm under the weather this week, and I'm bummed because Andy thinks it's COVID, and it might be. And I hope it's not. I hope I don't have COVID, dude. I really hope I don't have COVID. So I went to Las Vegas for a week for work. There was not a lot of play, but obviously a lot of people in Las Vegas, planes, airports, hotels. We were around. And following that, I did another gig at a big hotel here. Like the next day after that evening, I went out with Andy and a couple of buddies to celebrate my birthday. Thanks again, Andy. It was a great time. And then the next day I woke up and felt crummy. And I was like, oh no, like, I have a stuffy nose, a sore throat, and a headache. Like, this isn't good. And I took a couple of COVID tests. I took one that day, and I took another the next day because I was scared, and they both came up negative. And I thought that's fine. So I got on the show today to tell Andy, hey, I'm feeling under the weather. I might be a little low energy. And Andy says, well, you took your test too early. That doesn't mean anything. And now I'm scared again. So, like, thanks, man. I hope my point is, I'm if you can't hear it in my voice, I'm feeling a little under the weather. So I'm gonna push through. We're gonna do the show, but if towards the last half, if I'm real low energy, I'm sorry. I'm doing my best. With that being said, we need to get to the news. Our first story this week: Gilbert Gottfried, comedian and Aladdin star, dies at 67. This happened just before the show. This news came out. A real bummer, man. This guy has been doing comedy for a really long time. There's been a lot of character actor. That's what I'm looking for. A lot of good bits in movies. Aladdin is obviously notable for Iago, the evil toucan.
Parrot,
yeah. But otherwise, a bit of a bummer here. Andy, what do you know about Gilbert Gottfried?
I mean, just kind of an icon of American comedy, and had a lot of iconic roles in film, not just Iago. He was in a number of movies in the early 90s, kind of, I think Look Who's Talking To, Problem Child. He was on SNL. In the 80s, he had like a full season run on SNL. So he's one of the few comedians to kind of make that jump from comedy into film and TV. And, he's had a very long and storied film career, and was kind of known for very abrasive, not only his voice but his jokes, and he definitely didn't pull punches.
Yes, his voice was definitely abrasive. He's that guy that was really loud, right? He was the Aflac duck for a while. So if you remember the Aflac duck, then that's Gilbert Gottfried. But he's abrasive. Abrasive is definitely right. He was one of the first stand-up comedians to crack on-stage jokes about 9/11. Immediately following it, 3 weeks after 9/11, he made his first public 9/11 joke. Something about he wanted to catch a direct flight from New York to California, but they said they had to stop at the Empire State Building first, or something like that. People were like, too soon. No, dude. But puts him on the map. He also lost his job as the Aflac duck in 2011 for making jokes about the earthquake and subsequent tsunami in Japan. Really quick after that happened, I think it was like days after that happened, he was cracking jokes about it. So he was definitely known for being crass, but also, for being in a lot of movies, and for being, it seems like a pretty good dude. I don't think he was ever like embroiled in scandal. And if he was, I don't think I heard about it. Though there's some, debate on whether or not the voice was real. Howard Stern had a great bit where he had like a voicemail that Gilbert Gottfried called his producer. He'd play it back, and it was like totally normal Gilbert Gottfried. He's like, you're not really a thing. I don't know, but they were also friends. Could have been a bit. Either way. Any favorite Gottfried performances, Andy? Just put you right on the spot.
I think what I know him best as is Iago from Aladdin. Yeah. I can't think of. But the thing is, he was just the kind of guy that he would be in everything. Like, he's done a lot of like cartoon,
lots of TV. Right. Lots TV of little bits.
Animated. Yes. Voice.
Yeah, I don't show up in SpongeBob, and
I don't have like necessarily a favorite. But yeah, just someone who's, I mean, he's been working for a really long time. Like had a
Yeah,
whole,
it's
basically his whole life has been entertainment.
it's a bummer. Obviously, thoughts for his family, and keep it on off script for more. Next up, Bruce Willis is stepping away from his acting career following his diagnosis of a fake. Did we ever talk about this on the show, Andy? Because there were rumors swirling about this just a few weeks ago. I don't know if we ever like formally addressed it as news.
No, we didn't. I think this came out in the interim. But apparently, for those who don't know, aphasia is a degenerative brain disease where you slowly kind of lose your abilities with language and being able to both speak but also interpret. And there's many different kinds, and kind of depending on which kind you have, it might be possible to kind of stop its progression, but for a lot of times it is just kind of perpetually degenerative.
Yeah, it's a bummer, right? I think everybody's saddened to hear this. Bruce Willis obviously is the star of many, many beloved American films, namely Die Hard, right? The film that kind of broke him out and away from everything else, and spawned a revival of the genre. I think like Die Hard is like a staple. I mean, people, the movies that came out of the people that like Die Hard are vast and deep, and there's a lot of, basically he's a big deal, so it's a bummer, right? It's a bummer to hear this. Recently he's been seen, it shouldn't be funny, I shouldn't laugh at this, but he's been making a bunch of movies for Redbox, turning a profit over there, making kind of small time movies. He's been seen wearing an earpiece in films. When he did a Broadway play, I think he did Misery, he was wearing an earpiece and he was being fed lines. At the time, that's when these rumors started to swirl that, hey, he's not just lazy, he's losing his memory. And that seems to be a bit of the case. So a bummer, man. But hey, like, not necessarily a bad way to go. Like in a soft light that I think everybody looks at you with respect and says, "Hey, man, like you did a great job here. You go enjoy your life and do your thing and spend time with your family." Like so much worse than like some horrific story about a fatality in a car wreck or something. So like I don't know. I think people think fondly of Bruce Willis.
Yeah, he's definitely beloved American icon. Has been again working for 35, 40 years in Hollywood, and we missed.
Yeah, so keep it. That's I was gonna say keep it here on off script for more. I gotta come up with something else to say besides that at the end of each news story because it gets old really fast. Our last story: Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is swinging with a $72 million premiere, $72 million opening weekend at the box office. Meanwhile, Michael Bay's Ambulance, M-U-L-A Ants, is not doing so good. Andy, I'm going to be honest. What's going on at the box office? What's about this?
A huge win for Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which came in at 72 million. That's a massive opening for a family film. Family films have really struggled in the pandemic era or post-pandemic era, however you want to look at it. Huge win. And also made more money than its first movie. So we're definitely going to get a third film, maybe a series at some point. Really good takeoff. Michael Bay's Ambulance did terrible and opened to just $8 million in 3,500 or 3,400 theaters. So it's pretty massive bomb there. And Michael Bay just maybe it's just like maybe a lost taste or something. Maybe this would have been better on Netflix.
Yeah. It's funny. The more I hear about this movie, the more I'm simultaneously less and also like more intrigued by it. Less interested, more intrigued. I keep hearing it's really bad, but I also hear it has really great drone footage because Michael Bay hired like one of the fastest drone racers in the world to do a bunch of drone coverage of these like car chase scenes, and apparently it's really cool to see on the big screen. So like I don't know, I am curious to see what's going on there. So probably not enough to go see it though. We haven't watched it for this show yet, at least. Are you surprised it's bombing, Andy? I'm a little surprised. I think you're not. Okay.
Well, I thought it might find a little bit of an audience because it's an action film. They generally tend to do good, and I mean it does have all the Michael Bayisms. There's explosions and car chases and cars exploding, all that. But from what I understand, it's super long. It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes, so it's way too long. it's very cliche. Like if you've seen the trailer, you've seen the whole movie, and it's just, I mean, it's super mediocre, and audiences will not come out for mediocre. You have to bring a hit every time. Like gone are the days of casually strolling into the theater, like, oh, let's just see what's playing. Like, people don't do that. If like they are, audiences are only going out for very like select features.
Yeah, and I think there's this trope that like audiences just want like dumb theater, right? Like they want dumb, don't have to think about it, munch my popcorn movies. You think of things like the Fast and Furious series, and you think that kind of applies, but it doesn't. Like, because to enjoy the Fast and Furious movies, usually you have to have seen at least a few of the previous ones. You got to have a little bit of like nostalgic investment. The same goes for superhero movies, comic book movies, Marvel movies, Star Wars. Like, people want Jurassic Park. Like, people want to go see things that they at least know a little bit about and feel like they can be at least a little met intellectually. To come out with something new, like that's just action oriented, that doesn't look like it has a lot going on at that level, it doesn't really work. I'm reminded of like Roland Emmerich's Moonfall, like that came out, and like people didn't even know that came out in theaters, and that's from the director of Independence Day. Like that should have been at least mildly like a bump on the needle, and this movie kind of falls in the same space. It's weird because so many of the current movie going audience now is males. Specifically in like the action age range. That's a big reason why superhero movies are popular right now, because that's a lot of who's going to see movies. It's also why The Lost City doing really well is a bit of a surprise and a good thing, because it's saying, hey, rom-com's coming back, ladies are coming back to the movie theaters. That's good. But it's odd to see movies that used to work, right? Big action set pieces like a Michael Bay feature or a Roland Emmerich movie totally fall in the crack of what should otherwise be like a fine plateau for them to stand on. It's just a little strange.
I almost feel like that kind, because it looks like old Michael Bay movies like Bad Boys or like that kind of era, Transformers, and that's a different kind of action and much more grounded. It's not superhero action, and I almost feel like superhero movies have ruined it. Action scenes in that sense, that like you can't just do a car chase and like flip a car. You got to have like a guy throwing a car at another guy, something like that. You kind of have to up the action or do something really inventive, because that kind of stuff is just of another time. It's kind of boring now.
Yeah, and you can't be too gimmicky either, and that's the problem, right? Like a Moonfall, we're dropping the moon on the world, ooh, and it's kind of gimmicky, right? And then Michael Bay's Ambulance, he doesn't really advertise the drone footage a lot, but even to hear it, like a whole lot of drone footage is not a good movie make, like that can be neat to see, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be great. Hardcore Henry, that first person action film, didn't do that awesome, and you'd think, oh, that's something new and different. Like, not necessarily. It's hard to say what exactly current moviegoers want to see in an action movie, but it seems like Michael Bay and Roland Emmerich, man, they're on the wagon out. Yeah, like they gotta, get back on it.
That's a great comparison, Ambulance and Moonfall, because those are both like action movies that you used to see 30 years ago.
Yeah, like they would have done fine at the box office.
Completely out of place today, and yeah, you're making dinosaur movies, man. You gotta update. You gotta do something.
And it's gotta be especially painful for Michael Bay, because he had so much success with the Transformers movies, even though he rode them into the freaking ground and made like 6 of them. Anytime he tried to break out and make like Pain and Gain, which was otherwise a really good movie. Pain and Gain's like one of my favorite Michael Bay films. Nobody cared. Nobody cared about Pain and Gain, and like nobody really went and saw it. It didn't make much of a bump, and now he's away from Transformers. It's the same thing. Like, if you don't have that IP at the center of what you're doing, people just don't seem to care that much. And I don't know, maybe it's in marketing. They could have done more to push Ambulance out in front, but like otherwise, people just aren't that interested. It's weird. So that's the way it is. I guess.
Michael Bay.
Yeah, get a job, sir. With that, we should move into our first formal review. We didn't actually work it out for the episode. Andy, you want to take the summary for this one or Morbius?
I'll take Morbius.
Oh, okay, that's fair. It's all right. That's completely fair. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. Let me get my thoughts together and introduce our next film. I'm very excited to talk about this one. This is a feature I've been looking forward to for a little while. I remember the first time I saw a trailer, I thought, that looks dumb and wacky and like it's not going to work. And then every time I saw this trailer after, I thought, actually, hold on. So wait a second, something here seems like it might work. It's a film from Daniels, the directing duo behind Swiss Army Man in 2016, which was actually really kind of profound, even though it was a really small first feature. It's got Michelle Yeoh in it, who's awesome, and I'm excited to see her. It's got this weird kind of multiverse story behind it, and I can't wait to find out what that's about. And there's kung fu in it, and there's comedy, and there's all kinds of wacky things. And it's hard to describe what exactly is going on in this movie, so I think we should just jump right into the review. This is our review for Everything Everywhere All at Once. So, Everything Everywhere All at Once is the story of, honestly, I just saw it last night. What's the lead character's name?
Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah, what is her character's name?
Evelyn.
God, I'm dropping the ball. Evelyn, yes, Evelyn Wang, who owns a laundromat with her husband and daughter. Evelyn is struggling to stay afloat. She's got her dad in town who expects the most from her because they're a very traditional Chinese family. Her husband is a kind of fixer-upper who just is not a very exciting individual in her life. The laundromat's fallen apart, and her daughter is gay and has a girlfriend who she does not understand. On top of all that, they've got to get their tax forms filed. So when they arrive at the tax office to talk to their tax consultant at the IRS, Evelyn is surprised to find that her husband is not who he says he is, and is actually an agent from a multiverse of dimensions who has arrived in this dimension to recruit Evelyn as a warrior of the multiverse, to save the universe as we know it, to do things so much more important than what Evelyn is currently doing in her life and saving her laundromat and her family. It is a 2.5-hour movie. It is a wild ride. I'm so excited to talk about it in this show. Andy, what did you think of Everything Everywhere All at Once?
I was really trying not to oversell this when I first told you guys about it, but I thought this movie was absolutely amazing. Just it really knocked my socks off. It's so original, but also very inspired by a lot of kind of other things we've seen. At its heart, it's this family drama about generational trauma, about kind of acceptance of who we are, and not regretting too much of the past. Well, also all this is kind of seen and displayed through this insane sci-fi concept of kind of skipping through the multiverse, or tapping into other versions of yourself in other places, and kind of it actually reminded me of the Matrix a little bit, but it's just unreal. Just incredible visuals, great soundtrack, and really heartwarming kind of family drama. It's unlike anything I've really ever seen, and I really liked it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. This movie is top 10 film of the year material. This movie's probably get a nomination for Best Picture. And if it doesn't, it'll be because it's either too weird or it's too far away from next year's Academy Awards, and people will forget, because that happens with stuff that comes out way early. So
yeah, it definitely. I'll tell you right now, it definitely should be on there. People will probably forget about it. Come on.
People will probably forget about it. Which is terrible. But that's a bridge we'll cross when we get to it. For now, Everything Everywhere All at Once is a really tremendous feature. This is a movie. This is a film for filmmakers. But also it's so creative in its presentation. Directors Daniels are actually a team of two wonderful men named Daniel Skyner and Daniel Kwan, who are from two very different parts of the world, who met in film school and liked working together, and they made Swiss Army Man. They wrote it and they made it, and it was really odd and really weird, but really well received for what it was. And they haven't done anything together in a few years. That was in 2016. They've been doing music videos and shorts and their own thing. And they came back together to make this movie. They wrote and directed it together. It is really something else. It's a story about, being yourself and being proud of yourself, regardless of who you are, and being weird and that being okay, and loving each other and kindness, but also kung fu and crazy visuals, and radical soundtrack and insane sound editing, and really brilliant costumes and really tremendous makeup. There's so many good things happening in this movie. It's so crazy. Every metric I feel like that is required to make a good movie. This movie is just checking them off like boxes. They make it look easy, like how well some of these scenes are done. And it's not on a tremendous budget. Like it didn't cost, I don't know how much it cost to make this movie, but a lot of it's pretty simple. It's pretty basic sets. And pretty basic like props, but like really great camera work and really great coloring and really great cinematography, like really pull this together into something really tremendous. I think the best place to start is probably performances, right? So let's start there. We have a small cast in this movie. We have the Wang family, which is, hold on, let me get my top cast up. We've got Michelle Yeoh as Evelyn Wang. IMDb wants me to sign in. Andy,
yeah,
do you have an IMDb account? Do you?
No,
do you participate in this? I don't. I never will. By God. Anyway, go ahead.
We have Michelle Yeoh as Evelyn Wang, Stephanie Hsu as Joy Wang, her daughter, who I don't think is a spoiler to say, who is also in the multiverse version is the villain of the story as well, named Jobu Tabaki. Her husband Ke Huy Quan, better known as Short Round, made famous from Indiana Jones and
the Temple of Doom, the Goonies. Yes,
he played Data, and who took a long break from acting, and who's phenomenal in this film. I'm surprised he hasn't done things. James Hong plays the grandfather, Gong Gong, and then there are so many jokes in this. By the way, it's not marketed as a comedy, and it is hilarious.
It's hilarious.
And I won't go into this, but there's Ke Huy Quan is credited as Waymond Wang, which is a joke in itself. Jamie Lee Curtis is also in this. She's the kind of tax person who's also kind of a villain. Her name is Deirdre Bo Deirdre. Deirdre Bo Deirdre. I love it. So that's what I mean. Like there's jokes within even the. So this is the main cast, and it's from. I mean, Michelle Yeoh's always she's always good. She was in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, phenomenal actress. Like I said, Ke Huy Quan is really the standout because you're like, wow, I haven't seen this guy in 20, 30 years in a real film, and he's amazing. The daughter,
and he's great. Yeah,
slash villain is also incredible as well.
Yeah, I was really impressed by our cast. Michelle Yeoh, I've always known, is obviously really fantastic at what she does, but like nobody could have done this job better than her. Like for what this character is, which is an older like Chinese woman, like who's struggling to deal with her family, but also has to be
she's
action oriented and right, and multiple laughs play off of what she's doing. And like I don't remember the last time I was laughing a bunch at a Michelle Yeoh performance. Like I didn't know she could be funny, like I get to see like sides of her that I didn't expect her to be able to play so well. Additionally, yeah, like her daughter, Stephanie Hsu, a bit of a newcomer, fantastic, really great confidence on screen, despite some of the crazy outfits and hairstyles and makeup they've got her in. Like she plays it like it's nothing. Ke Huy Quan is tremendous. It's like he hopped in a time machine for 30 years and got back out, and he's just as good as he used to be. Like he hits the emotional beats where he needs to. Like he's funny. He's got some action choreography in there. Like tremendous acting direction from these two directors. Like I'm stunned at how well they get these characters to work within their world, because in the world of Everything Everywhere All at Once, obviously you have a lot of universes, multiverses. You have lots of different Evelyn Wangs and lots of different Waymond Wangs and lots of different Joys and lots of different Gong Gongs and these characters have to kind of dime usually within scenes very quickly from one to another. And it's a clever blend of performance and editing and direction, like that makes it work so good. At times when you feel the most jostled, it's because our characters feel the most jostled. When you feel the most safe and grounded in the movie, it's when our characters feel the safest and grounded. It's like it brings you grounded. It brings you along for the ride in a way that is so great, because like it's so rare that a movie that's original, that doesn't build on anything new, like I was just talking about in our last segment, can grab you and like pull you in like this one does. It's like a roller coaster.
Yeah, it's really incredible, and that really, I think we need to get into the plot a little bit more. So we have this very crazy movie. It reminded me a little bit of Uncut Gems in that it's just really stressful because there's like 10 things going on.
Comes at you fast, yeah.
At once, but it really has a heart in this inter-family drama. Actually, a little bit similar to Coda, which I finally watched. Michelle Yeoh and her husband are contemplating a divorce. And it's not so much that they don't kind of get along or they fight. It's just their life in general is incredibly chaotic. Like the laundromat is kind of upside down. It's not, they're behind on their taxes, all these things. It appears he doesn't really take it seriously, or he doesn't really isn't super helpful, or he's off not doing things that are helping to contribute to that. So there's a lot of tension there. Again, her relationship with her daughter is equally stressed, where her daughter is gay and out, and she's not super comfortable with that, and she's definitely not comfortable telling their grandfather, her father, who's coming to visit as well. So there's just like huge family stress, huge work stress. The laundromat itself is kind of dilapidated, not working. So this is where the environment we find our character, when an alternate version of her husband comes, basically pulls her into the multiverse and says, like, no, you got to focus on this. You got to save the world.
Yeah, and it's got a unique plot device where the most successful way for a character to jump between multiverses and everything everywhere all at once, and to access other versions of themselves, is to do something that's completely unexpected in the universe you're in. Almost like a Mary Poppins gag, right? Do something funny, do something weird, do something crazy, and magic will happen. So we have our characters doing things that are completely out of place within the normal universe. Flicking each other's noses, or doing like Three Stooges bits, or doing things that are incredibly crass, but really funny. I don't want to give any of them away. Like I think the less you know about the kind of later parts of the film, the better. But my God, like it gets so creative and childish and sophomoric, but also whimsical, like in its like moving of the plot forward by having our characters do goofy things to access additional information about themselves, like the Matrix, right? Growing your set of skills by jacking.
Right. That's a really interesting. That's a really interesting thing to talk about. It's just, what is our sci-fi?
A deeper, whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what is our sci-fi premise? And that there is, these people come essentially from what's called the Alphaverse, who have discovered multiverse jumping, and they've been searching through all the multiverses for like the one Evelyn who's going to save them. And we discovered that you can jump to nearby, or acquire skills from nearby people, but again, you have to do something kind of weird and offbeat to do that, to channel that, and you can also kind of manipulate time, or time can kind of slow down as you do these things. And what I like about this movie, it doesn't get too much into the weeds past that. Like it's not trying to write a rule book of this is exactly how this works. You just kind of get like, this is what you got to do to kind of channel another person. And then we eventually get these amazing sequences where a number of characters are channeling multiple versions of themselves in an instant. Particularly the antagonist villain, Jobu Tabaki, who is, when she shows up, she's kind of untouchable because she can so quickly like jump through people in the multiverse, like no one can hurt her.
Yeah, I think additionally, like on top of like our characters doing wacky things in the current setting they're in, which is this IRS office where a lot of the kind of, it's where basically the core plot takes place, but then you start spreading out into other settings as well, because as our characters are jumping between different identities of themselves, they're jumping in between different worlds, right? And one in which Evelyn is a movie star who knows kung fu, and another in which she is a hibachi chef with a coworker who's got a really odd something about him that you kind of come to find out later in the movie. Like these other universes where it's just like our world, except our characters are a little different, and they something else in the world is very different. There's usually something in one of these universes that is drastically different from our current world. But the point is, each one of these universes is supposed to come from every moment in Evelyn's life where she made a decision that led her to where she's at now. Because every disappointment and every rejection and every failure that Evelyn's ever experienced led her to being the Evelyn Wang who's at the IRS office getting audited over her laundromat. But if she'd gone a different way, if she hadn't stuck with her husband right after college, or if she hadn't moved to America, or if she hadn't done this, then she would have gone on to be successful. And it turns into this wonderful story about how you can embrace like the decisions that got you to where you are as an opportunity to become something more. more, and not just as Daniels, just like Swiss Army Man, managed to craft a script that disarms you with like this childish kind of notion, right? These goofy pranks and these funny things and silly things that our characters are doing on screen to access deeper parts of themselves. By the time you get to the third act of the film, like suddenly you've got like an emotional uppercut that you didn't see coming, and the film brings almost to a standstill at certain points, like to remain poignant and have these moments of like true emotional depth, where our characters really say something profound and present an ideology that really I think is the point of the whole movie. And it's great. It's really great. And I can't believe how well it works, because you don't know where it's going. Every moment in this movie, I had no idea where the roller coaster was headed, right? Like no clue. Nothing is predictable about what's happening and everything ever all at once. If anybody watches this movie and says, oh, I figured I knew where the ending was going, like you're wrong. You had no idea.
Yeah.
Like there's no way you could. And that's what makes it so exciting. They just don't make movies like this right now. It's great. Mm-hmm. It's like one of a kind.
Yeah, it reminds me of kind of older adventure films from like the 80s. Actually, things like The Goonies itself, where, you know, kind of Joe Average is you're here to save the world. The Matrix, like we mentioned, even things like The Never-Ending Story, where it's like normal person in a fantastical setting. Other heavy influences from things like Kung Fu Hustle. Yeah, for sure. And that's the other thing. The action in this is top notch. Like there's a number of fight scenes, because the number, I mean, similar to The Matrix. And the first place everyone learns to jump to is the Kung Fu multiverse, where everyone has learned. And it's great because there's this like montage of Michelle Yeoh like getting beat up in an alley, then getting protected by a Kung Fu master, and then training all her life and becoming, you know, a star in that. And so we get like top-notch, like Hong Kong level Kung Fu action throughout all of it, as well as other kinds of, you know, I don't think we really have shootouts per se, but it's, I mean, there was a ton of action choreography that's really impressive. And it's, you know, it's not really marketed as that kind of film. So it's just really awesome.
Yeah, the fights are great. There's a couple fight scenes in particular, like I wanted to start clapping at the end of them, just because I was like, yes, like that is what fight scenes are supposed to feel like. Like, it's great. Fun fact about those, I can't find their names on the IMDb page, but I follow both of the Daniels on Twitter now because I was excited about this movie, so I went and looked them up. They met their choreographer or their fight choreographers on YouTube. They found their YouTube channel, and they were two guys similar to them, who were choreographing fights from Kung Fu. They did this movie and it was huge. And since then, those two are going on to get offers from other studios, which is bananas. So yeah, YouTube choreographers put together the fights in this movie. Crazy. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how much more I want to say about this. I feel like we talked about it a lot, and I don't want to spill beans, as you know. So Andy, what do you think? Any other thoughts before we wrap this thing up?
No, I'm in the same boat. Yeah, there definitely don't want to say too much about this. I think I'm ready for recommendations.
I think I am as well. Andy, would you recommend Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Absolutely. This is one of the most original films I've seen in a long time. One of the best movies I've seen in probably several years. It has fantastic action, heartwarming story. It's, you know, take your average or kind of normal A24 family drama and put it into a really insane sci-fi setting, and you have this movie. But great performances, good action, amazing score by Sun Lux, I believe. And yeah, I just really enjoyed this, and I can't wait to see it again.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. This movie's super good. If you have the opportunity, please go see this at a theater. It's funny. I had a buddy after I tweeted, I saw this last night and tweeted it, and hey, I watched this movie and it's super good. Go see it. He said, you know, me and my girlfriend this weekend, we're talking about going to see one of a few things. He said, we're either going to see Sonic 2, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, or this movie. What do you think I should go see? And fortunately, the girlfriend hopped in before I could get to it and was like, hey, I think we should go see this movie because I hear it's really good. And I agree. Like, I don't know about what else is at the movies right now, right? I haven't seen everything else. I can tell you what I think those movies are going to be about. But this one, this is something different. This is a unicorn in the forest, man. Like, you don't see movies like this. Like, this reminds me of, I don't know, Adaptation or like Bram Stoker's Dracula. Like, this is just like, is like a white horse breakaway. What is this film kind of movie? Like, I think you should absolutely try to catch this in the theater as soon as possible. Super good movie. Everything Everywhere All at Once, and that's that. Next up, we should move on to our middle segment. This is the death of cinema. I had my banners, and you might help me out. I'm a little disorganized over
here. Sure. It's time for the death of cinema. We're going to be talking about Slapgate, which is the incident of Will Smith's slapping
Slapgate. Slap heard around the world.
And the kind of fallout and what's happened since then. We have a number of articles here to talk about. And we're going to go kind of from oldest to most recent. Number one is Netflix backs away from Will Smith film Fast and Loose. So Will Smith, about 4 or 5 days after the Oscars, a number of Will Smith helmed or centered projects immediately went to the back burner from major players, Netflix, Disney, Paramount, everyone just kind of backing off him, which is as predicted here on Off Script. Because there's got to be fallout for that kind of thing. And so that's no surprise. Not long after that, Will Smith himself fully resigned from the Academy, calling his behavior inexcusable. He also apologized to Chris Rock formally via Instagram. I guess that's formal. And then finally, the Film Academy officially banned Will Smith from the Oscar ceremony for 10 years, meaning he cannot attend the Oscar ceremony, but he can still be nominated and win awards, which kind of doesn't make sense to me. But so that's our major developments. Zach, what are your thoughts?
So this is a challenging topic for a couple of reasons, and Andy and I are frankly a little disconnected from a lot of the likely very personal reasons that Will Smith got up and smacked Chris Rock. So I can't speak towards any of that stuff, right? I know there's a lot of rumors and speculation on the internet. I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot of theories about his relationship status with his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, and how they interact with one another. There was an Instagram video that came out from her about him. That was like, it just, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know about that. What I do believe, and this is even contentious in my own home, because my wife is a bit of a Will Smith fan, and she's like, both sides are wrong. Whatever. Everybody's got opinions. And I don't want to, I don't want to ruffle feathers. That's all I'm saying. Big disclaimer. I don't want to ruffle feathers. But, dude, I don't think you can assault people on national television, like basically for no good reason. Like, even if you're really upset about something they said, you shouldn't do that. And the Academy holds themselves to some kind of standard, even if these are the people that let in Woody Allen and Roman Polanski. I'm not saying they always do the right thing. I'm saying I think they have an obligation to respond to this as a business, right? Like, in some capacity. The 10-year ban, I think, is a bit of a surprise to me. I don't know if I thought it was going to blow over, but the fact is, like, he's still eligible for rewards. So it's weird that they're like, well, you can't come here for 10 years, but we will still put your name on our envelopes and we will fundamentally promote you as a winner if you do win, because that's how they work. So it's just, I don't know. I don't think either hand shakes either hand there. Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
yeah, it
feels middling. And then I have thoughts on the films getting delayed as well. But what do you think of that so far? I mean, let's just, yeah.
So as far as the ban, I think it's too little too late. He should not have been allowed to stay at the ceremony. He should not have been allowed to collect his award and give a speech.
I agree with that.
I think that's really what it comes out to. It's like anything you do is going to be pointless at this point. You should have, responded immediately. And there are very conflicting reports. Some people are saying, yes, we did ask him to leave. He refused. Other people are saying, well, he didn't. He wasn't really asked to leave, or he was asked. It's like, did security and police ask him to leave, or did a producer in a headset and microphone say, hey man, do you think you maybe should get out of here? Like, but it seems like that. If you were going to do anything, it needed to be the night of, right as it happened. And honestly, they probably just didn't have any contingency plan for this, because, like, why would you? But now they will.
Why, yeah.
And I think that was the big issue of the night, is that they just had no idea what to do.
Right. Like, there's a lot of rumors going that way. A board member of the Academy told the Hollywood Reporter that somebody asked Will Smith to leave right after it happened. 2 other people said, nope, nobody asked him to leave. Like, so even within the Academy, nobody knows exactly what happened. Nobody's got a clear answer. I'm kind of in the same boat. I think he should have been quickly asked to, not even asked, really. They should have been like, Mr. Smith, it's been a great night. Let's get you to your car. Like, this isn't going to be a question. Like, I don't think he should have got up and accepted it. People don't accept their Academy Awards all the time. Like, and I know he was just there and that happened, but they could have easily been like, you know, Will Smith isn't here to accept the award tonight. Like 20 minutes, it would have been fine. Like, I think that would have been a better answer to this, and then you could work out if he comes back next year or not. Like, that would have been the more immediate punishment for what happened. This 10-year thing is up in the air. As for people who, I've seen at least a lot of people on Twitter saying, well, his movie's getting paused is ridiculous and unfair, and its studio is making a bigger deal of what it is. A brief aside, like I'm again not defending the hit, not defending that. Like, I just, like, imagine if you were making a movie, it costs a lot of money to make a movie. Like, you don't want Will Smith, who's going to be your lead, because that's how Will Smith works. He just won a Best Picture, you know, he just won Academy Award for Best Actor. Like, he's going to be your lead in that movie. You never want your lead in your movie embroiled in scandal in any capacity. Like, they're not stopping the movies. I don't think this is going to kill his career at all. Like, he will continue to be in films and will be fine. But
well, that's
you know, I get the pause. Like, if you were putting a bunch of money down on a big investment and right before you did it, some horrible thing happened, you'd be like, wait a second, let me think about it. That's all. Like, I think that's an okay position, and I still think he will have a career. I don't think, he's not going to be in shambles or anything. Like, there's no way.
So yeah, I completely agree with that. Like, there's, it'll cool off eventually. He'll come back into the good graces. These things, again, it's been pointed out, like, they can't take away his Oscar because Harvey Weinstein still has his Oscars. Roman Polanski still has his Oscar. Like, these people who are literally criminals. So they're not about to do that. And yeah, and this happens all the time. I mean, like, the latest Fantastic Beasts movie was delayed a lot because of having to replace Johnny Depp for, you know, his issues concerning Amber Heard and things like that. I want to talk about the ban a little bit. So 10-year ban. They're not going to take his Oscar. He is still eligible to receive and win awards. He just cannot go to the ceremony. This is one of those things that looks harsh, but really isn't. I mean, banning him from the Oscars is like banning me for the gym. I was like, I didn't want to go anyways. But also, you can undo a ban at any time. Like, let's say in 3 years, 5 years, Will Smith has just, I don't know, been really gotten in people's graces. You know, eventually I guarantee before this 10 years is up, there will be talk of like, well, maybe it's time to forgive Will Smith and let him back in, you know. Like, I guarantee he's not going to be bad for the full 10 years. You can lift it any time.
Yeah, I'm pretty firmly in the same boat. Like, you could say cancel culture is the death of everybody, and in some cases that's true, but I think that's for people who truly deserve it. Like, we're not talking about Harvey Weinstein, Roman Polanski. We're talking about who did a lot of bad stuff and a lot of drugs and committed a series of felonies, like, growing up, and now he's freaking Iron Man and everybody loves him. Rob Lowe was caught in bed with an underage woman and people love him now. Like, this is not going to kill Will Smith's career. It isn't. Like, and I do think there has to be some kind of consequence. I don't know. I guess it's up to the Academy to say whether or not this is enough. You know,
I mean, and honestly,
people people like Will Smith. He's not going anywhere. He's not going away. He'll be fine. You know, like, it's fine.
And like I said, I think, you know, like I said, they're not going to take his Oscar because they haven't taken it from these more horrible people. Yeah, I think that's kind of a cop out. Like, you could still take his Oscar and say, like, we're sorry, we're not going to, like, accept this kind of behavior, and just because that would be real punishment. Or real consequence. Right. And I mean, that's debatable of whether or not they should, but I think it looks more severe than it is, and I don't think I don't think he's going to be banned for 10 years.
No, and I think the punishment, like, honestly, it's there's certainly punishment, at least in public perception. It's worth mentioning, like, every step of the way, Will Smith has offered kindness and stood in solidarity with all of these decisions. Every step of the way is really a statement that said, I agree with the Academy. I'm so sorry for my actions. I apologize to everybody who was there that night. Like I took away attention from other people's like basically lifetime achievement, like that, you know, like he never once has been a dick about this. And like it would be so easy to get on Instagram and post videos being mean about it, you know, or like, no, this is dumb, or I think that, like, and start a fire. And like, no, every step of the way he's responded with like at least kindness and good grace. And like I think that will stand the test of time. I really do. I'm bummed he hit Chris Rock. I really wish he hadn't. You know, and now he's seeing the fallout from that. Like that's what this is. Now your stuff gets put on pause. You know, now you're not invited to things you used to be invited to, at least in some capacity. So, you know, that's Will Smith. I don't know if we'll talk much more about it after this story. Like this is probably the end of it, at least unless some kind of radical news comes out about it. But
the next time we talk about this is when he gets back into the Academy in 5 years.
Yeah, like I don't. People like Will Smith, man. People like him. Like he's a likable dude. Before this event, I know a few people didn't like him, and honestly, like the biggest punishment I think comes from the fact that like this should have been a huge night for him. He has not been in a lot of great films. This is his first Academy Award for Best Actor. Like Will Smith winning an Oscar should have been a huge, exciting thing, and instead it's been this awful, terrible moment in his life, and it's going to be that forever. And like. That sucks. So like he has nobody to blame but himself, and that's a challenge.
One last thing I wanted to mention is I read in the Variety article, or it was the podcast Little Gold Men, which follows the Oscars. Who they actually the podcasters actually attend the ceremony. They were there and they were at the after party, and they said it was incredibly strange because they're at the Variety after party. Will Smith was there, like dancing with his Oscar, like nothing had happened, and everyone was like, "Dude, you're acting like nothing happened," and we all know. But I think it was definitely he didn't think that it would be a huge deal the next day, because I do think it's very strategic that it took a couple of days for the apology to come out and see what the fallout actually was.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to say. Yeah, I follow a couple of accounts on TikTok, and I know they're film TikTokers, so like they could just be being kind of contrarian for views. But they of the ones that went and sat way up in the nosebleeds, they said after party, bathroom, elevator, anywhere they went after that, it was all people were talking about. They were like the slap, like that was the whole night, like that everybody's attention got turned to that because it was weird and everybody knew it was weird, and it's like I hope the Academy's got a better contingency plan next time somebody's assaulting a host on the Oscar stage.
Yeah, and I think that's one of those big things.
Like, what do you do? Yeah, like who expects that? They had a rehearsal the night before. Like there was no assault. It was fine,
And now they'll have a plan in place. They're like, well, if someone gets assaulted, this is what we're gonna do. And they'll know what you don't know until you know.
Yeah, you don't know till you know. So that'll be it, I think, for the Will Smith story and Slapgate here on Off Script. Again, pending any more tremendous news. It seems like he's genuinely apologetic, which I think is the right thing to do. So with that, we should move on to our final review. Well, hold on, Andy, any thoughts on Slapgate? I mean, this is last.
I'm ready to move on.
I think I'm ready to move on. I think we're all ready to move on. With that, we should move on to our final review of the episode. Very excited to talk about this feature. Andy, please take it away.
Morbius. So this is finally the release of Morbius. This film has been 2 years delayed almost. It was supposed to come out in June of 2020, constantly delayed. It was most recently supposed to come out in January, which probably would have been a better time for it. Finally comes out Morbius, which is about the Marvel character, Dr. Michael Morbius, who is half man, half like vampire. He's not Batman, despite all the bat imagery in the
Lots
film.
of bats. Lots of bats.
Played by the oft-hated Jared Leto, also starring Matt Smith and Adria Arjona. Dr. Michael Morbius has this rare blood disease where his body is weak and crippled. He has to use his walking braces. And he's a brilliant doctor, and he's attempting to find a cure for his disease. He also has a childhood friend played by Matt Smith named Milo, who also has the same disease and is also his benefactor in all his research. He eventually finds some sort of think there might be a cure involving some sort of Costa Rican bats, which he harvests and is doing probably illegal and ethically dubious experiments on, and eventually finds some sort of cure that turns him basically half bat and heals him. Makes him basically superhuman, but also he has an insatiable. He's got to drink blood. He's a vampire.
Yes,
so that's
lust for blood. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So this is kind of our setup. He's a doctor. He's trying to help people. He's superhuman now, but he's got to consume blood as a vampire. Not real sure whether is he here to save the world or to hurt it. Like I was going to say, Adria Arjona, who I thought was Lily James for the longest time, plays Martine Bancroft, who is his assistant and doctor. Also stars Tyrese Gibson and Al Madrigal as the kind of cops who are hot on the case. Zach, what'd you think?
Okay, so Morbius isn't good. If you've seen any reviews, like if you've seen any Rotten Tomatoes, like anything, you know this movie's bad, and it is. And sometimes it's fun to do a bad movie on Off Script Film Review here and dunk on something that everybody else is dunking on. But for what it's worth, there are some things in here that are mildly redeemable. I think it's worth talking about the movie, and then maybe it's kind of general direction. Like it's just so like paint by numbers, like so shamelessly we're here to make money movie, like, and it just feels so soulless and somehow like it's 3 hours long, even though it is a tight 90 minutes. Man, where do we start? My gosh.
Well, I'm going to start with plot. So we have all seen this movie before many times. Person A becomes superhuman, and then person B becomes superhuman, and they have to fight each other. Notable examples are the Hulk from, I think it's 2007, starred Edward Norton. This plot has been used a lot. Actually, the other two Venom films are exactly like this, and also coming from
Sony. Yes, yeah.
It's just super mediocre. Like I wish it was as terrible. Like Deep Water is a terrible movie. This Morbius is actually not as bad. It's just really, like Zach said, it's paint by number. It's mediocre, super predictable. To me, the most interesting part is actually everything before it becomes Morbius. Like that, because the first 25 minutes or so is when he just has this disease, and he has his really kind of close friendship with Matt Smith's character Milo, and he's working like he's more interesting not being Morbius than after that. Also, there's a ton of really kind of cringy and bad CGI. There's this smoke effect, which is like Michael Bay's drone obsession. They were obsessed with using this smoky effect anytime anyone like runs or dashes. A lot of the vampire facials look really terrible. Like when he'll all of a sudden have vampire face out of nowhere, and it's just like it looks bad. The prosthetics are bad. Like that's really poorly done.
Yeah, it seems like Sony this is their lane with the Spider-Man villain movies, right? They've got the film rights to Spider-Man, and they got the film rights to a bunch of Spider-Man villains, and like just like Venom, they're like, we're just gonna do the most general, safest approach to a superhero movie we can, while also simultaneously being about some kind of villain, and it's just so clumsy. Like the character's weak, the movie's weak, the pacing's weak, the plot's weak. Andy's right. Like it is exactly the story you've already seen. If you've seen the Hulk or any one of the 28 Marvel movies, you have a pretty good idea of what's happening. I mean, they're not all the same, but like fundamentally, yeah, character is weak, character gets powers, character is strong, character has to fight friend, character defeats friend in CGI battle, credits, after credits scene, and then another after credits scene, which are particularly questionable for this film. It's a shame because there's a world in which Jared Leto is not a bad actor, right? He won Best Supporting Actor for Dallas Buyers Club, a really tremendous performance. Like I've seen him put out good work, but as of late, and especially when he seems to be in the main character roles, like he is just a miss. And like in this one, it just doesn't work. And he's right. Like the first kind of 20-ish minutes after you get through the kid flashback stuff, which is real weak, he's okay, right? He's kind of this crippled doctor, but like, his face is all sunken in, and you feel like, okay, yeah, he's all right. But yeah, once he gets his powers, like the movie has to juggle the other plot line for, your kind of villain character, as well as some kind of romantic love interest that's present here. And then also him like finding out more about his powers, and you don't get a lot of that character interaction anymore, right? And suddenly like it's just really surface and it's really ham-fisted, and it's like, okay, yeah, we're doing the movie thing. And that makes it a really tough 90 minutes. Like it gets so boring in the middle.
Yeah. It rips off a ton of other movies you've seen. Reminded of Alien, The Fly, other kind of sci-fi movies. Sure. Like I said, other the two Venom films.
Yep.
Hulk, the Incredible Hulk. It borrows from a ton of other much better films.
I do want to talk about like kind of the presentation. It's real flat, it's real dark, and there's some decent sets in the movie. They're goofy, but like his little lab with like little tunnel of bats in the middle, like is kind of cool looking. It doesn't make any sense, but that stuff kind of works, and the lighting's kind of fun. But the action is pretty weak and mostly CGI. The smoke effect is kind of neat, but a little overwrought. And interestingly, there's as far as I know, no physical prosthetics in this movie. It's all CGI, which is weird because the same year this was made, he also made House of Gucci, which was with Rome.
It's me and Morbius.
Right. It's all Paolo. Yeah. And that's all physical prosthetics. But he wanted to go the other way here. And was like, no, we should do CGI for Morbius, which like looks pretty good. If you're watching the video version of the show on Facebook or YouTube, or if you've seen the trailer for Morbius, you can see like it looks all right. Yeah, it looks okay, but it like somehow it feels even cheaper, like because it's just like, oh yeah, CGI, green screen, like, and that doesn't help the experience at all.
Yeah, it's really not good. The action is just also not like there aren't really fight scenes.
No,
it's mostly just Morbius eat like beating people up, drink their blood, and then he's got to do the fight his equal in a CGI battle that's kind of snooze. And again, there's like also the weird thing about the movement, they're like super fast and can kind of fly, and it's not very well done. I mean, I think they're kind of an interesting premise here, but you would have to give the Marvel treatment or something.
There's a plot device kind of in the middle that's interesting. This movie deals a lot, or I think at one point before it hit the final round of editing or something, I feel like it dealt a lot with time. There's a lot of scene transitions that open on clocks, which is weird. And additionally, like once he kind of gets his powers, our Dr. Michael Morbius discovers that he has to drink blood every like 6 hours. And if he drinks artificial blood, then he can make it every like 4 hours, but that time ticks down, and eventually he's going to turn into Morbius and he's going to have to get some real blood no matter what. So he's kind of fighting off this like vampiric element in himself. Lots of jokes about Dracula, which are all ham-fisted and none of them are funny. But at least that's kind of interesting. And then like coming up on our like turn into the third act, they just completely drop that. They just completely abandon. He's got like a watch. He sets a timer on, like he's checking. He's got a notebook. He's writing down times in, and then they just completely abandon that. And they're like, whatever, we're on the fast track to fight the bad guy now. And I don't know what that is. I'm like, at some point there was something here, and it just doesn't go anywhere. It's really distracting.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to just kind of assume that he's going to feast on bad guys. He's going to,
Yeah, which is a problem.
Yeah, they do kind of abandon that plot point.
Yes. Yeah, and that's another problem. Like, do you have a character who's at least mildly redeemable also be like a bad guy? And the answer is the guys he eats in this movie are all bad dudes anyway. This is very clumsily explained to you by a police officer in the film. He's like, those guys are bad. Those are mercenaries. Like they deserved it, but the innocent people, I mean, nothing can happen to them, right? So like he's trying to thread the needle where he's only eating bad guys, and it's kind of the same thing as Venom. It's like at some point y'all have to be bad. At some point y'all have to be unredeemable because Peter Parker's going to have to fight you, and when that happens, we're going to have issues. And speaking of Peter Parker, this movie very clumsily shoehorns in a Michael Keaton appearance that is much more teased in the trailer, in all of the trailers. They made it look like he was going to be a bit more of this movie, and like, my God, He's in it even less than the trailer showed. Like they didn't even use the footage they had of him in it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's funny because they try to get in on the multiverse thing, and there's some really bad CGI of like the sky cracking open.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah, they really did that on a budget. And then the Vulture is ham-fistedly shoved into the movie, and kind of he says, "Oh, well, we got to worry about Spider-Man." And he mentioned Spider-Man at some point, so I guess Spider-Man will reluctantly team up against.
I think we should team up and fight Spider-Man.
Against these E-list villains, and like they better hope they make a much better movie.
I tell you what, honestly, watching it, I genuinely thought to myself, okay, like a Vulture is fine to fight Spider-Man. I'm fine with Michael Keaton fighting Spider-Man again. That's fine. I don't know if they should make another Morbius standalone movie. I still think they should put Morbius in Sinister Six though, just for the meme potential. Because like at this point, I mean, people were talking about the summer Morbius. By God, like people thought Morbius was going to be huge. Since it's come out, it's had a huge dip at the box office. It's not doing great in the second week, and people are not going to see it. Like the meme wave has died. But as a member of the Sinister Six, like I think it could work. What the hell, right? Like throw Jared Leto's Morbius in there. I don't care. Like you can throw bats at Spider-Man. Like shit. Like it could work. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's the place for C-list, D-list villains. Is you put them in the group movie. You don't give them their own standalone. This might have. I can't think if this would have done any better 2 years ago. Probably not. This is still trying to ride off Spider-Man a little bit, and it's still doing poorly. So.
Yeah, I looked it up. The original release date for this movie was July 2020. So nearly 2 years, like just shy of 2 years ago, this was supposed to come out. And yeah, superhero movies looked a little different at that point. Like we were used to a lot more, I don't know, a lot more phoned in performances. But then we had a pandemic, and now people want the goods. And Morbius is not the goods, man. It is a weak showing. But it still made $75 million or what, $40 million opening weekend. We're going to see how it does overseas. Venom killed it overseas, so Morbius will probably do well over there as well. It's a good, safe movie for audiences that don't want to see things that are homophobic or pro. I guess pro-gay, right? Chinese and Russian audiences aren't going to need anything censored out of this. They can just go straight to their movie theaters, and they're going to love it. So I don't know. What do you figure the odds are we get another one of these, Andy?
Very low. I don't think we're going to. So this made about 75 million internationally on its opening weekend. It needs to double that to just break even, and it probably will, or maybe just fall short of it. It's definitely falling hard and fast. Yeah,
I heard it had something like a 75% drop off in box office returns from the first week and the second week, which is like brutal. Like normally movies don't have that bad of a fall off, but I think all the teenagers, all the kids who saw the memes went and saw it and laughed, and now it's tumbling fast. So we'll see.
I think it's funny. We saw Morbius and Bram Stoker's Dracula in the same week.
It is funny. Yeah, we went and saw Bram Stoker's Dracula at the Texas Theater, which we'll talk about that right before the end of the show because I do have hot takes. But otherwise, I mean, an unimpressive score. Did we talk about the cast at all? I mean, I guess not really. I did want to take a moment to talk about them. Jared Leto as our lead, Matt Smith as Milo, his friend, who's one of the best parts of the movie. He's got a dance sequence in the middle of the movie that's like surprisingly engaging. I was like, oh, this is actually a decent scene. And Jared Harris as a doctor who's way too good for this movie. Like he's acting circles. Characters, like every time he showed up, I was like, oh God, Jared Harris, what are you doing? Like you win Emmys. Like, why are you on screen with these characters? And Adria Arjona, or I'm not sure, as Martine Bancroft, a bit of a love interest for Dr. Michael Morbius.
I swore it was
pretty good. I mean,
like half the movie.
Yeah, like she's fine. And also Tyrese Gibson coming hot off the set of Fast and Furious as a bumbling police officer who can't get it together. So, basically his character in Fast and Furious. Otherwise, not a whole lot going on in Morbius. I don't know. Any other thoughts?
I think I'm ready.
Andy, would you recommend Morbius?
Absolutely not. Hard pass.
Hard pass.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a comic book Marvel completionist, maybe check, but definitely wait till it's on streaming. Don't waste your money at a theater. Although I saw it for $5 Tuesdays, so definitely see it for as cheap as you possibly can if you're interested. But I would say hard pass for anyone else.
Yeah, same here. Hard pass. Not an enjoyable time at the movies. Feels like that it's just dragging. I told Andy right before we started the show, like there's about halfway through the movie, there's a spat between Morbius and kind of the villain, and it's the setup for the final act, right? Like, I'll get you next time, and they zoom off into the sunset, and they got to get a plan together. And I genuinely thought that was the end of the movie. I was like, all right, you know what? Pretty harmless. Like, here we go, rolling right into the final scene. No, that's like halfway through. And there was another 45 minutes of just filler and junk to go. I was like, oh god, like this is not great. Don't waste your time. You're not missing anything. It's got a 16 on Rotten for a reason. Hard pass on don't even watch it when it comes to streaming. It's not good. So that's Morbius. And that's our show. That's episode 172 of Off Script. Andy, what are we watching next week?
So, well, the big release is Fantastic Beasts, Secrets of Dumbledore, which we are not seeing, but that is coming out this week. If you are interested, we're going to be taking a look at the Oscar-winning film Coda, which is on Apple TV Plus and also video on demand streaming services. And we're also going to be taking a look at Memoria, which we talked about briefly a while ago, which stars Tilda Swinton. And was a very kind of mysterious film that this is going to be playing at Texas Theater, directed by Apichatpong Weerasethakul.
Oh my God, are you going for it? Oh my God, I was going to pull it up here. This is let me see if I can get his name.
I've no
idea how to pronounce that. We got to figure it out before we review it.
I've heard it pronounced several times. That's the only reason I can say it.
Good Lord, good for you. Yeah, I saw that pop up on screen when we were watching the trailer. I was like, oh, wow. Like, that is I mean, my God, good for them.
And just to remind people about this, Tilda Swinton stars as a woman who is in Colombia kind of researching or teaching or something, finding herself. And she begins to hear this very strange thumping sound, this kind of otherworldly huge bang. And like, she's the only one that hears it. And it's kind of a mystery of like what this is, which was a very mysterious. This film made the rounds literally one screen at a time. This was like this weird strategy they had, and now it's finally kind of opening wider. So we're anxious to see it, see what it's all about. Definitely looks like slow, bold cinema. So we'll be back with a report on that.
It looks like the kind of film where like the scene only changes, like the shot only changes every 18 seconds, and there's nothing happening in frame, and it's all cerebral. Bold cinema at its finest. So we're going to see that at the glorious Texas Theater, which, by the way, we saw the trailer for that again at the Texas Theater this last week when we went and saw Bram Stoker's Dracula. So a brief aside for that, because I know we're right at the end of the show, and I probably should tease this better. This is our second time watching Dracula. Not really for the show, but my second time watching it. Andy's, I don't know, 18th time watching this. Yeah. I was excited to go see this again, because the first time we watched it, I was not that into it. I knew the visuals were cool, but it wasn't that great. And so when it came to theaters again, I thought, well, this is the only chance I have of loving this movie. If it's a particularly visual film, seeing it on the big screen will do wonders for it. And it totally did. I've since turned around on Dracula. So for the record, Dracula's good stuff, dude. It's very cinematic, very out there. Yeah. Wow. But really cool. I need to go back and listen to my old review and see how I felt about it back then. Cause I feel differently now. I think that movie's super good, man.
30 years old this year.
30 years old. And as far as I know, only one optical effect. Otherwise, everything was done in camera. I went back and watched Red Letter Media's review episode on it. I know you posted a behind the scenes thing. I need to go back and watch it. Some of the making of, like, they got nuts on that movie. Yeah. Like, just huge budget. My God. Crazy.
The amazing thing, what is like that cast, those were big stars then. Those are all still big stars then. If you had a movie with the five of them, you'd be going crazy. Again, Winona Ryder, Keanu Reeves at kind of like their peak when they were really the hot young actors.
Anthony Hopkins, Gary Oldman, Carrie Elwes. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Solid cast all around. Yeah. A who's who. Yeah, indeed. With that, and well, hold on, Andy, any thoughts coming back on it? I mean, I know you've seen it a couple times, but we're here.
Really great to see on the big screen with big sound. The sound is a huge part of it. The score, Dracula's kind of impossible to understand half the time. Like I've watched it with subtitles and I still wasn't sure like what he said half the time in the movie.
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins is, you don't think of it because he's not Dracula. He's not the main guy, but he is like turned up to 11 and is kind of crazy and insane his own self. And even minor roles like Tom Waits as Renfield, Dracula's like minion, also like going for the Oscar as well. Like it's Shakespeare. So just really
Meanwhile,
and I can't imagine in like seeing that in 30 years ago, that movie like that coming out.
So reportedly, yeah. Meanwhile, Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder are like, I mean, Keanu Reeves is brutally bad in this movie. Yeah. It's but report. I thought this was interesting. Bit of trivia. Reportedly, the reason Francis Ford Coppola came across the scripts because Winona Ryder sent it to him because they wanted to work together, but she was busy shooting something when he was making something else, and she sent him the script like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, this is kind of good." And Keanu Reeves basically got cast because he was the hotness. Like it was just, nope, you're up and coming in Hollywood. You'll sell tickets. You should do it. And reportedly, there was a world where they were going to have Johnny Depp play that main role, and I think that would have been. Genuinely would have been. I mean, anybody would have been better than Keanu Reeves. Sure. Like in Drag, he's so bad, brutal. Like just, oh god, every one of the scenes, I was like, Keanu, please, give me something good.
Brad Pitt, Brad.
Oh god, yeah, anybody would have been better. So that's Dracula. We'll come back to it again at some point, I'm sure. But I'm excited that I've come around on it since. Go see old movies at big theaters. It's good for you. All right, it helps you grow as a person and helps grow your cinematic opinion. And speaking of your cinematic opinion, if you've enjoyed listening to the show today, you can follow us on Facebook where we live stream the show every week. You can follow us on YouTube where we post our live streams. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, and we're on all the usual podcast platforms. But if you want to keep yourself a well-rounded cinematic individual, you want to learn more about Bold Cinema and keep up with what we're doing here, keep up with what's hot at the movies, just subscribe to Off Script Film Review to get new episodes delivered straight to your phone every single week. And drop us a rating and review while you're at it. We'd really appreciate it. From all of us at Off Script, the home of Bold Cinema, I'm Zach Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Draper.
Thanks for watching.